All right, let's talk about hunger. It's one of the most common feelings we all have, and as it turns out, one of the most misunderstood. Have you ever done this? You just ate a massive meal. You should be totally stuffed, but then, like 10 minutes later, you find yourself staring into the fridge again. What is up with that?
Well, that familiar rumble in your stomach, the one we all think is the ultimate sign of hunger, it turns out it might not be what you think it is at all. In fact, it's one of the biggest myths about how our bodies work.
So, if it's not a cry for food, what is that sound? Well, think of it as your body's internal cleanup crew. They're just tidying up after your last meal.
Okay, so here's what's happening. The whole process is called the migrating motor complex. A couple of hours after you eat, when the main part of digestion is over, this special set of contractions kicks in. It's kind of like a wave that sweeps through your intestines, just flushing out any leftovers. And a hormone called motilin, that's what triggers the final big cleaning wave. The sound we hear, that growl, is literally just the noise of that whole tidy-up job happening.
And you're going to love this. There's an actual amazing scientific name for it. Borborygmus. Seriously. So next time your stomach growls in a quiet room, you can just lean over and say, "I'll excuse my borborygmus." Way more impressive, right?
All right, so if the tummy rumble is just housekeeping, then what actually makes us feel hungry? What are the real signals our body sends?
Well, turns out the real feeling of hunger comes from two main places. Some pretty powerful chemical messengers that come from your gut and direct signals from your blood itself. Okay, let's meet the main player here. It's a hormone called ghrelin. And yeah, you can basically think of it as the hunger hormone. It gets made right there in your stomach pretty much as soon as it starts to empty out. So once it's made, ghrelin basically hitches a ride through your bloodstream and makes a beeline for your brain's main control center. We're talking about a tiny but super important area called the hypothalamus. And when ghrelin gets there, it delivers a message that is crystal clear. It's basically like your stomach sending a text directly to your brain that says, "Hey, it's time to eat." But it's not just your stomach sending out these SOS signals. Your body is also keeping a really close eye on your blood. If the levels of key nutrients, we're talking glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, if they start to dip too low, your brain picks up on that fuel shortage right away. And boom, it triggers that same, "hey, time to eat" feeling. Okay, so that's real physical hunger. But what about that other kind of hunger? You know the one, the kind that hits you when you know for a fact you're not actually hungry? Well, my friends, that's when your brain decides to take over. Yeah, this is what we call brain hunger, and it is all about your senses. That smell of pizza when you walk past a restaurant, that sizzle of fries. Heck, even just seeing a donut on your screen can be enough for your brain to go, "Ooh, I want that." It doesn't care how full your stomach actually is. A great way to think about it is this. Your brain basically gets FOMO, fear of missing out, when it spots a snack. It's like it doesn't want to miss out on a potential tasty reward, so it just creates the feeling of hunger just in case. And this is especially true when it comes to junk food, right? Eating those sugary, fatty foods gives us a tiny little high because it releases all these reward chemicals in our brain. Now, this whole system was super helpful for our ancestors, but today, it's pretty much what's behind our biggest, baddest cravings. Okay, so what happens if you ignore those real hunger signals for too long? Well, that's when we enter the danger zone. We're talking about hanger. And being hangry, that terrible mix of hungry and angry, it is not just in your head. It is a 100% real physical response. See, your brain's favorite fuel is blood sugar, and when that gets too low, your body basically flips the panic switch. So what does it do? It floods your system with stress hormones, things like cortisol and adrenaline. Now, their main job is to help your body find energy fast. But a huge side effect? They make you feel super irritable and moody. It's literally your body's alarm system screaming at you, "Emergency, find food, now." So let's bring this all home. When we talk about feeling hungry, we're really talking about two totally different systems at work. So here's the simplest way to look at it. Real hunger? That's a physical need. It's your body saying, "I need fuel." But brain hunger? That's a psychological want. It's triggered by what you see, smell, or feel. And it can pop up anytime, even if your stomach is totally full. So what's the key takeaway here? The goal isn't to fight these feelings. It's just to become a better listener, to really tune into your body's complex messages. Honestly, learning to tell the difference between need and want is kind of like a superpower.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you feel that pull towards the fridge, just pause for a second and ask yourself a simple question. Is my body ordering fuel, or is my brain just window shopping? The answer just might surprise you.